secret sauce today, right? We're going to discover the difference between IQ and EQ. And one of the things that's really interesting is there's really nobody talking about that. And once you get this, you're going to have a much different understanding of not just Facebook, but what online advertising is all about. See, many people falsely think that it's just a bunch of random numbers. And it is not that at all. I mean, obviously we use numbers and we look at metrics to drive some of our decision making, but it is important to employ emotional intelligence as well, and we're going to talk pretty deeply about that as we get farther down in the training. So thank you again for being here. You're going to learn a lot about this topic and how to maximize your ads. So to simplify, right, this is kind of what we see. Like, you may be here just to see how you can turn $1 into $4, right? And look, I totally get that. I mean, let's face it, that's kind of what everybody wants, right? And there's so many stories out there, people who are just like crushing it with ads, right? And you may even feel like that the only people who make money with these ads are Facebook gurus and this guy right here, okay? But it's not true. There's a lot of our students that are doing really, really well, and we're going to share some of that with you. But I understand it's really, really easy to get overwhelmed, right? Especially when news stories like these hit the internet, right? Like, I don't know if you saw this. This was back, I guess about a month ago now. Facebook changed the news feed to focus on friends and family, and everybody went up in arms. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Like, the sky is falling, right? And it's interesting. This just came from actually just doing some searches on different news feeds, and this is like the news talking about how Facebook news is not going to be as newsworthy. Like, it's got to be like the silliest thing ever, right? So it's almost like sometimes the news channels obviously have to create something out of nothing. And to be truthful, there's a lot of changes that's always going on with the algorithm, and we're going to show you how that's not really as big of a deal as you think it is, right? So we're going to talk about that. But because once you start taking on the world of Facebook and online advertising, I understand you end up with a lot more questions than answers. So we totally get it. And some of the questions that we see is, like just basic stuff. What buttons do I hit? What do the numbers mean? How do I get more clicks? How do I lower my costs, right? How do I get more leads? How do I convert more leads into sales, right? How can I scale up my business profitably? How can this be predictable, right? How come my ads stop working? Like, these are the kinds of questions that we get from students, and that's why I typed them in here, because they're common across all people that are marketing online, right? So some of these typical questions, just as we get a little deeper, is like, what are critical KPIs? What kind of benchmarks should I be looking at? Once you've asked the basic questions, then you start getting into this layer of questions that are more about your metrics, cost per click, click-through rates, relevancy scores, all this kind of stuff, right? And so it can be really, really overwhelming, right? So I just want you to stop for a minute and just take a breath, right? Understand, like as we say in Texas, it ain't rocket science, okay? So once you know the exact steps and processes, you're going to be able to create your own Facebook marketing ecosystem, right? You're going to finally be able to gain full control to be able to scale your business rapidly and quickly with Facebook ads. So you just have to focus on what's important, right? And it's really, at the end of the day, once you know what you're doing, it's really just looking like the dashboard of your car. And anybody on this training that has ever driven a car can glance down very, very quickly. If you got more than, say 2 days worth of driving experience, it's a quick glance to understand what's going on your dashboard, and it's like, yeah, I got this, no big deal. And I make my adjustments from there. And you can get to that point with your advertising, because we have a lot of students that have done it. So stay tuned, because at the end of the presentation, we're going to provide you a checklist of the information that we share with you today. And you're also going to get access to videos, step-by-step documents, and support to guide you through these proven processes, right? This is what's going to put you in full control to scale your business rapidly and profitably, right? So interestingly, what we see is there's this paradox, right? This is what we call the advertiser's paradox. They look at, you come online, you look at kind of the old way of doing things, and then you get introduced to new ways of doing things. And that can create a little bit of, I don't know, just uneasiness, right? And it's like, oh, I've got to change. There's this new feature, and it becomes a little bit intimidating. And so what happens is you look at all these new tools, and you look at what some of the other marketers are doing. It's like, oh my God, this is the greatest new tool. You've got to have this, and whatever. And because of a bit of overwhelm, as a result of all these new tools being introduced, fear sets in. And in the moment that fear sets in, now you may not recognize it as fear, but you recognize it as procrastination, right? So just understand, I want you to just look at yourself, right? And understand that when you're procrastinating, there's a very, very high likelihood that you're not doing something because somehow you're afraid of moving forward. You're afraid to do the right thing. You're afraid to do the wrong thing. You're just unsure, right? So just to let you know, like this is the huge irony, right, in everything that's going on, right? So, honestly, it's not your fault because why? The big paradox is this, is that those tools are designed to make your life easier as an advertiser. So the irony is that we're getting intimidated, right? But without that intimidation, our life would be so much easier, right? Now look, I've seen a lot in my years online, right? I've seen firsthand what can happen in 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, and throughout the years. Now, you may not know this, some of you do, some of you know me, but I'm the very first employee at Black Box Social Media. Yes, that's my big claim to fame, right? But I've witnessed the evolution of this process firsthand over the past few years, right? And I've watched our agency grow by referral only because of the results that this method produces, right? And many of you know the story on how Kurt and I started to work with one another. I basically, a little over 3 years ago, I reached out to Kurt because I wanted to get some help with a project, right? And it just kind of all started from there, and that's kind of how we started working together. But as a result of being employee number one, I've seen the good, the bad, and trust me, the ugly, right? But what I've never seen is a step-by-step measurable process like the scale method, right? So this all came about, this is just like an interesting backstory, when a good friend of Kurt's with no online experience whatsoever started asking Kurt, like you saw Kurt's lifestyle and his beautiful place and travel and all that stuff. It's like, Kurt, how did all this happen? How did all this come about, right? And I'm going to let him tell you the story, but I want to just tell you that the simple 12-step process that Kurt drew out that night has become the simplest, most straightforward, easiest process to learn and implement. It really has. So we've seen fruits of the strategy working with our agency clients, and you probably recognize some of these people. Some of them are big marketers, motivational speakers, famous copywriters, and this has happened across a lot of different niches, whether it's digital marketers or sports teams or famous best-selling authors. This process works across all kinds of different niches, right? So we've seen thousands of students around the globe that have been able to duplicate these processes, and you can duplicate them too. In fact, Kurt's efforts, this is I thought was so cool, they were recently recognized in the Huffington Post, right? Being named one of the top 6 Facebook marketers to follow. Really, really awesome. And in fact, here's just a little blurb from that article, right? And if you look about halfway down in the yellow, right, you'll see he offers different levels of training based on the needs of the individual client. So what we have for you today is exactly that, right? Like whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or a genius, your needs are going to be met today, right? So in fact, this was kind of funny, just today, Kurt was giving a speech to MBA alumni, right? The high school graduate, I just found this funny because I give him crap about this all the time. The high school graduate is about to educate the MBA graduates. Now, I will point out that Kurt put together this slide, and notice there's not a space between high and school. It's actually one word. So that will give you some idea about the level of education of this man, right?
I never saw that.
Right.
Awesome.
However, right, it doesn't, the part is, one of the things I learned from Kurt is, look, we focus on production over perfection. And it's just, it's working out really, really well. So just a few things to keep in mind before I bring on Kurt is, look, we've got a lot to cover, and I know Kurt tends to talk fast, and we do intend to record everything. We're going to make this process fun and easy. So just follow along step by step, right? But importantly, I know we always put this slide up, but this is the time where you want to turn off your phone, go where it's quiet. Most importantly, open your mind. And when I say take notes, don't just take notes, right? Because there's, we're going to give you stuff at the end of the presentation to help you, like a list of all things that you can do. So you don't have to write down every single word. But the best thing you can do when taking notes is if you could boil each step down to one sentence that would allow you to take an actionable step, you would serve yourself the best by taking those kinds of notes. So without further ado, I want to bring on a guy who I've become really, really good friends with. I've been mentored by him. I've just learned so much from him, and he's really has affected a lot of people, not just all over the country, but all over the world. And people love him. They really do. So anyway, without further ado, the social media genius himself, Mr. Kurt Mali.
Yay, Shecky doing a good job.
We're hugging.
Yeah, we're hugging. That's great. Hey everybody, it's great to see everybody here. Just about ready to jump all in this. The story basically starts back October 2015, and I promise I'll make this short, but it's important. A lot of people ask me questions, and I got this little formula will run into my head, and I'll start giving people answers just because I can kind of see the way that the numbers flow. It's just kind of what happens in my brain. And I've been thinking about since October is, hey, how can we really help our entrepreneurs and people inside of our network really scale their business online? So besides what buttons to hit on Facebook, like how do they really scale? So I really started doing a bunch of research, spending just a lot of time thinking about it. I'm walking through this airport after the event I just showed you at. I'm delayed again. I come in, I meet a friend back at my apartment. We're lifetime friends. I haven't seen him in a really long time. We hung out. We drank some beer, and he, like Shecky said, he asked the question. He's like, I've known you for years. What happened over the last 5 years that were so different? And I'm like, John, you're kind of my perfect avatar, just meaning that you don't understand anything about what I do, but in 12 steps, I really believe that I can explain this to you. And if you let me go through this with you, like I really believe that I can really help a lot of people. And what's happened over the last 6 months has literally changed my life, other people that you'll hear about here in just a little bit, because I've documented thought processes down where people get confused and where they're not quite sure what to do next in a 12-step process. We've documented the whole thing too. So this is stuff that we've already been doing for years, but they're the strategies that I documented, like what do we do when X happens? Or if I'm stuck, how do I move forward? It's all about having choices and moving forward. So I'd like to know here real quick, just so I can understand and tailor the training to you, can you please tell me if you're a beginner, intermediate, and genius level? Now we're going to quantify this, again, so I know if I should go slower or faster. So as a beginner, maybe you just started as a Facebook fan page, or you've started one in the past, you have a working knowledge of kind of how the fan page works, you spend under $500 on Facebook. If you're a beginner, type in beginner over in the question section. If you're an intermediate, that means you have a working knowledge of Facebook ads, like you've done some Facebook boost posts. By the way, I just saw a stat today that there's over 3 million advertisers on Facebook, but something like 50 million business pages. Only 3 million people advertise regularly, but something like 95% of people, 75% of businesses who have a fan page will hit the boost post button, which means they've hit the boost post button, but they've spent some money, but they haven't seen any returns, or they don't know what happened. So if you spent $500 to $2,000, that may be you, and maybe you have an understanding of cost per click, click-through rate, or CPA. Now, genius level would mean you spent over $2,000. That doesn't mean you accidentally let it run overnight and something happened. This means maybe you've tested out some things, you kind of understand some control numbers, or maybe you're looking for, I go to a lot of live events where people are looking for that one golden tip, right? That one insight that we have from either a mastermind or a past client. And if that's you, I'd love to know if that's you. So if you wouldn't mind, just so I can understand who I can really help out on the call and speak to the most, what bucket do you feel that you fit in? Is that a beginner, intermediate, or genius? Go ahead and type it over in the question section for me or down below. So here's what's going to benefit the most. Write this down for me, please. These are one of these action item notes that you can have with a good takeaway. So pay close attention to step number 1 to 3 if you're a beginner. 1 to 3 is going to be absolutely critical for you. It's going to be the foundation of your business, foundation of your advertising, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Doesn't matter. Step 1 through 3 is absolutely critical. Intermediate, you've probably gone through some of step 1 through 3. Still pay attention to that. Steps 4 through 6 will increase your ad result 40% plus. Now, you can never make any guarantees unless you do exactly what we say, but the big thing is these steps right here will help you regain and monetize traffic you've already produced and qualified, it hasn't gone all the way through a conversion. Genius, you're going to want to pay attention to step 7 through 12. Most people out there don't do step 7 through 12, and the people who do 7 through 12 consistently, we easily see them double the lifetime value of a customer even within 30 days. You'll see a case study with Brian Johnson here in a couple of minutes of how he was able with steps 7 to 12 to start producing $1,000 a day for the last 7 to 8 days, I believe it was. I haven't checked in with him for the last 2 days. So this is stuff that can really make a huge difference for you. Now, at the conclusion of the training, we're going to give you a detailed copy of the mind map and some detailed action item notes. Again, please only take notes on stuff that you will take action on instead of just trying to grab as much information as possible. So to make this all easy, I'm going to talk about a case study, Brian Johnson. You may have seen it if you've attended any of our other trainings or if you checked out our YouTube channel. Brian's the perfect avatar for us. The reason is he doesn't really understand sales funnels. He doesn't understand landing pages. So if you feel you've never built a website or you don't know what ClickFunnels is or what Aweber is or how that works, or if you're just getting started, Brian Johnson probably knows less than you. He just so recently he had a laptop and he runs everything off of his phone. So it's possible to do that as well too. But just think, Brian is just someone who's really passionate about his business, has a great product and service that people love, and he can really help people in the world as long as he can reach more people. So if you have that product, service, or message, and you really want to get out there and you know it can really help people and your product or service can benefit people, and if you don't know a whole heck online, again, Brian's a great avatar. So we made basically Brian as an avatar, as a beginner. So Brian's business model is he's a health and wellness expert. He's a personal trainer, does personal nutrition, body language, emotional wellness, alternative health, body movement. That's just the top 6. He does a lot of other stuff. That may be like you too. So you may be like, well, look, I got all these other things to offer. What do I offer first? I can't offer everything at once. Well, okay, so Brian's personal business goals, we start there, right? Not necessarily the products you have, but Brian, what do you want to do? He goes, look, I want to spend less one-on-one time with people at a gym, do it from home. I want to reach more people, get leads predictably, get leads that turn from digital into coaching programs that I just follow up with a little bit, create a predictable income, diversify the products and services that he has online instead of just one thing, increase reach with paid traffic strategies. I said, great. Now, here are the challenges. So again, if you know any of these, you are light years ahead of Brian. And again, Brian knows I say this about him. I love him like a brother. I really do. But he'll be the first one to admit that, hey, he doesn't really have the technical skills. He's just been learning Aweber over the last 6 months. Not that hard to use, but he's consistently doing it. At the time when we started this project was over a year ago. He had 2,000 personal Facebook friends. This is before we started working on the fan page that I'm going to talk to you about that we've done in the last 45 days. He didn't have any predictable lead flow. He had little business social media experience. He had no automated follow-up process for new leads. So basically, if he met someone, he didn't really follow up with them. If he had a business card, you guys know how that is, the stack of business cards. He was posting irregularly on Facebook. There wasn't really a plan. The thing is Brian's super passionate about his business. He really wants to help people. Brian's consistent. If I tell him, Brian, do this every single day or do this every other day, he will. And he's open-minded to test. He'll follow simple instructions. He doesn't give up easily. He always says that there's an opportunity, or even he was in a car wreck and he's like, I wonder what that means. It gives me the opportunity to explore and find more additional income. And he did, just because of his attitude. He's great. So he's great at written content, but he's really at video. Here's the other thing. He's willing to test and verify and say, hey, you know what? I'll go outside my comfort zone, or I'll try and we'll see what happens. So let's talk about the real-life case study with Brian, the before the scale method. So you can see top right-hand side, January 1st to May 15th. Literally in 5 months, Brian only spent $99. You can see in the bottom right-hand side, right? Just $99, and you can see he had high cost. I mean, it was 12-cent engagement, 8-cent engagement, 54-cent engagement, $1.59 page like, $2.46 page like. I mean, he didn't really get much data with $99. right? I mean, look at this, the relevance score you'll hear me talk about in a minute, that's critical. That was low. Like, his costs are so high, he didn't know what to do. He was hardly spending any money. So what we did is we applied the scale method. I said, Brian, you are a great case study. Here's what you're going to do for just the next 15 days. So here's what happens. Brian spends $481 in 15 days. Brian first kind of freaks out because he said, my budget's only $500 for the month. And I go, but Brian, if you put in $300 and you make $600, would you still only spend $500 or would you spend more to make more money? He goes, I'd spend more. And I go, okay, let's spend wisely and strategically. So we spent $481 in 15 days. Well, what does that mean? We quantified the traffic and found what people engage with. Look at these 2-cent engagement tips. That's great. These page likes, 10 cents. That pre-qualifies the audience. You're going to hear about how I do that in just a minute. 1,200 video views at a penny, completely predictable. 304 website clicks at 29 cents. After just 15 days, with a relevancy score that's high, a high relevancy score will allow you to run traffic long term. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. But this is what happens in just 15 days. Brian starts to get predictable traffic. Now, you've heard us talk about this article. Shecky mentioned it before. Lots of people, what happens is they read the news and they get scared. And they read the news, and that's what the news is there for. Shock and awe sells more papers. We all know that whole cliche. So when articles like this come out for the New York Times, people call me, they freak out, they come to our forums, they come to our trainings, they say, Kurt, the sky is falling. That's why we made that great video with Shecky that he's going to make me tape down here in just a little bit. But what happens is people freak out because they don't know. What they're really talking about here is people who don't know how to use their fan page properly, meaning organic fan page traffic is dying off. And you may pay a little bit more for the advertising, but here's the deal. If you know your numbers, it doesn't really matter. And here's what we do. Changes before Facebook makes an announcement. So here's what happens. So Facebook's going to make a change to their algorithm, right? Then they're going to tell the news. Hey, just to let you know, a while back ago, they won't ever say the date, but a while back ago, we made this change. And what that change was is that you're going to see more friends and family, less businesses. So a lot of businesses were freaking out saying, well, I've been working for years on my exposure on Facebook, now that's going to drop. Well, they were really talking about organic traffic. They weren't really talking about paid traffic. And if you have a high relevance score like you see on the right-hand side, well, look at these numbers that happened last month, June 1st through June 30th. We got 5,000 page likes at 9 cents, 10 relevance score. Our relevance score was high. Video views, 5,000 at a penny, 9 cents. And again, this is all in branding. I'm going to show you how this works to clicks and conversions. 4,000 video views at a penny, 9 relevance. Look at this, 3,000, 2,800 video engagements, 2,000 video views. Look at all these video views and engagements and page likes for pennies at a high relevance score. By the way, Facebook announced the change. Well, what happens after the change, right? Does this strategy work? It's not a strategy. This is what all the major platforms want. Look, July 1st through July 27th, Brian spent over $2,100. He had no idea he'd ever spent $2,100 in a month. But look at this, website video views, 12,000 at a penny. Website clicks, people that go straight to his website, 9,000 clicks at 10 cents a click at a 10 relevancy score. Brian can spend money at 10-cent clicks all day long to get leads and opt-ins. He has video views. Look at all these relevancy scores. His cost went down. It's because of relevance. Now I'm just going to show you this ROI. July 1st through the 27th, 2016, Facebook ad spend $2,104. Gross revenue $10,264. ROI 488%. Would you spend $1 to make $4.88? If yes, type in the question or comment section if you're watching the recording. But if you're watching this live, you're just typing the question, would you put in $1 to make $4.88? A lot of people tell me, Kurt, I know that you have this 12 steps. I went through a couple of them, or I tried a couple of suggestions you said, but I need to do this right away. If you've been frustrated for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, or a year, I can short track you within 15 days to 30 days to make huge differences to your business. This is literally Brian 45 days later. So $2,100 in ad spend, plus not only did he get those sales, he got 311 highly qualified leads. We're still working on his landing page, but he got 4,800 likes, a highly qualified audience by what I'm going to teach you. He got 10,000 website clicks. That's great for retargeting because they're highly qualified people. And he got over 100,000 video views that helps his branding that's highly effective. Now, results aren't typical. With all trainings and things in life, it requires effort, persistence, consistency, and following a proven process, which I'm going to show you right now. But I want to show you the proof of the stories that we tell you as well. So here's how you're going to get the same results. Okay, Everything that I'm showing you here is an ecosystem strategy. There is no way that I can explain this any better than to say everything I'm about to teach you in all 12 steps will feed on one another. Now, the feedback I've gotten from some initial people who have jumped on our training, they said, hey, Kurt, I think I understand step 1 and 2, so I went to step 3 and 4. I'm having some questions. Follow all the steps. It's going to work just like a frog feeds the pond with the tadpoles and flies and fish. It's an entire ecosystem. It all works together. But it has to work harmoniously. Now, I'm going to give you a bulletproof system because you're going to give exactly what Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google wants. I'm going to show you on the Facebook platform, but you can apply it anywhere. What we're doing is we're doing a Facebook advertising, measuring the holistic business value. So see, what happens is we're going to take some fan pages, we're going to start getting some conversions, we're going to use promoted posts, sponsored stories, some Facebook ads. Now, people are going to see it online. There's going to be some offline traffic if you want to drive it. You can drive it for brick and mortar businesses and word of mouth as well too. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you exposures in different ways that can work for lots of different niches. Here's the big key that no one is talking about. Please listen very carefully for my every time. I'm going to pause for just a second, just so for whatever you're doing, you can listen. Okay, this is important. EQ versus IQ. This is going to be the backbone behind the scale method. Once you understand this, everything will change for you in the next 30 minutes. I guarantee it. And you can quote me on this. If your opinion doesn't change about Facebook and how you do your marketing after you see the next 30 minutes, tell me at the very end. I assure you, this is going to be one of the most, people always say shocking, I don't know any other word. This is going to be one of the most riveting things that you've seen in a long time. It's really going to make a lot of sense. So watch this. So what is EQ exactly? Well, EQ is an emotional quotient. IQ is intelligent quotient. Let's just look at the abilities for the definition. So the abilities: identify, evaluate, control, and express emotions, one's own emotions. Perceive and assess other emotions. Use emotions to facilitate thinking. How do people think? How emotional are they when they think? Understand emotional meanings. That's EQ. Now, IQ is what we all heard: IQ test, ability to learn, understand, apply information to skills. So we're going to show you an EQ, IQ methodology that has been absolutely proven hands down. I'm going to show you why. Because the IQ that we're going to apply to it is small, little, tiny things I'm going to show you in a minute. EQ does all the work. And if you haven't already guessed it already, what we're going to do is we're going to leverage Facebook's EQ. This is going to make sense in just a second. You're going to make very clear sense in a second. Because Facebook knows who to target people emotionally, not just based on keywords, emotionally. All we have to do for our IQ is all we require is you. We use the scale method. We're going to judge it by just a couple of gauges and a couple of numbers. That's it. We're going to allow Facebook and the other platforms to do all the hard work for us. So remember, IQ, just knowing the numbers, plus EQ is going to equal success. This is going to make a huge momentum of difference here in just a moment. A huge aha. Watch this. See, what happens is when I teach these 12 steps is we're going to tap into the EQ of Facebook. We're going to tap in with the first 6 steps that a lot of people kind of mess up, usually do mess up, and never move from step 7 through 12. 7 through 12, we're going to use our IQ. We're going to use our numbers because we're no longer targeting a cold market to only target the most targeted, highly relevant, hottest leads and clicks possible. Everything I'm going to teach you that we're talking about here, I want you to think about. We're going to make decisions like we're looking through the windshield, thinking about relevance score. I don't care about cost per click. I don't care about click-through rate. The only thing I care about is relevance score. This is going to be very important for you to understand. If you don't write down anything else, write down relevance score is the #1 number you should pay attention to if you want results like Brian and you want your ad cost to go down while you're able to scale traffic. Let me explain what this is. So relevance score defined is pay less to reach your audience. Facebook considers how relevant an ad is when determining which ad to show a person. See, when your ad is relevant to your audience, its relevance score is higher and more likely to be served than other ads targeting the same audience. As a result, you pay less to reach your audience. So ad relevance score will help you know when to refresh your ad. When your ad score drops, it may be an indicator to refresh your ad's creatives or change its targeting. Now I'm going to show you how you don't necessarily have to refresh your ads. I'm going to show you how to give the highest relevance possible, and you're going to use that to drive just a mad, insane amount of traffic. Again, all depending on what you want. Here's the foundation how this all works. It all depends on good content. We just got to make sure it's relevant content. Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, I was just telling the MBA students this, the platforms are all pretty much becoming the same. They just want you to have relevant content. The ads must improve the user experience. Again, the ads must improve the user experience. Now, it doesn't have to be your own content. We have a whole way that we map this out. But what you can do is the strategy is you just got to know what your avatar really likes to read about or what they see. Is it video? Is it likes? Let me show you more. Very simple process. Quick question here. I want to make sure that we're as we're going through this, I want to make sure if I'm over-educating or if you're really getting the concept, how many people here are familiar with Facebook's relevancy score and how it affects your Facebook ads? Again, just type in yes or no in the question section. How many people here are familiar with Facebook's relevance score and how it affects your Facebook ads? Just go ahead and type in yes or no. Are you familiar with Facebook's relevance score? How does it affect your ads? And again, you can put this down below and the recording will respond. Yes, 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 yes. Great, 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 great. Got some smart people here. Nope, nope, no. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this fun and easy. Let's give you an example. Now, for Brian, Brian's not necessarily great at writing blog content. Brian doesn't post 10 times a day. What Brian loves to talk about nutrition. That's what he loves more than anything else. And when he goes to the grocery store, he loves to talk about nutrition. So when he does that, I'm like, well, just record a video. Let's just do what you're already doing and just have you record a video. And if you're recording a video, I'm going to have you upload it to Facebook and YouTube. And we're going to use the same strategy pretty much that we're going to use on Facebook that if we wanted to run paid ads on YouTube, well, we could. So let's just make it fun and easy. For this demonstration, we're going to leverage the Facebook algorithm. So step one, we're going to clearly define our avatar. Now this is going to be one of the most critical foundational steps that you can do for your business, period. I know a lot of people talk about it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. But defining exactly who you want to target, no longer do you have to sit down and say, okay, where can I target? Now you sit down and say, who is my perfect customer? Now let's click all those buttons to target that person. It's a very different dynamic. If you skip this step, I don't care if you're beginner, intermediate, or genius, and clearly define how we set this up, it's absolutely critical. Shecky and I have spent a full hour doing a full training on this. It's a critical foundation step to drive Facebook's EQ. So for example, for Brian, we know that his avatar is in the United States, male, female, 30, 55. They have implementation, nutrition, fitness, but they have to be entrepreneurial. Open to the idea of hiring a personal coach, not somebody who has a job that's getting paid every 2 weeks that can't afford some of his services. He'll never be able to grow that way. So what we do for step two is we start identifying an affinity audience. Now, let me show you what that is because that starts tapping into EQ. So see, step two is, this is just planning. You're not running ads yet. You want to be able to have an essential ingredient to diversify your marketing. You have the foundation to scaling marketing happens here in the affinity audience. The way that you're going to be able to scale campaigns long term, again, is going to be right here. Wide audience for predictable traffic and stop campaigns from dying quickly. If you have any campaigns that you run for 3, 5, 7, 10 days and they go like gangbusters and then they just stop, it's typically because of a relevancy score, and this is going to help out. Also, it's going to be absolutely required if you really want to grow your business. So what's affinity? Well, in this meaning, affinity is similarity. It's a resemblance or likeness or kinship or relationship and association linking. So it's the resemblance of your avatar. Let me give you an example. So overview, build for your audience. Simple three-step process. Here's the core. So we know with Brian, the age range, gender, income, geography, a couple of those basic questions. They're interested in fitness, nutrition, those are some basic questions. Spend some time and really focus on your core avatar. But remember, you're not always going to have to advertise to your core because we're going to get Facebook to do all the hard work for us. Again, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Google, and YouTube are following suit on the same exact strategy. So focus on your avatar first. Well, what's going to happen is we're going to tap into the EQ. This is the affinity marketing. We're going to figure out, okay, we got this core audience. Now, what are maybe some of their hobbies? You know, if someone, for example, loves the survival items, maybe they're also a gardener because people who grow food in hydroponic planters, for example, that want to grow food in their house, survival people might like that, but also gardener people might like that. What are their hobbies? What are their interests, activities? We're focusing on EQ. See, what happens is we're going to leverage the lookalike audiences on Facebook, the in-market audiences in Google to really enhance that IQ or EQ, and those platforms are really going to drive traffic. But here's the most important thing: is we can't skip anything. We can't go from a core market and then create a lookalike market and expect that I'm going to scale with my lookalike. It just doesn't work that way logically. That's not the way that Facebook works when you really start looking at the numbers. So it's very important affinity marketing has to be done with some leverage. So let me give you an example of once we figured out our avatar, core avatar, we'll put this guy with the glass with a superhero, right? And then what we figured out is, okay, these people ideally are probably going to be interested in nutrition. Now, people who are interested in the American Diabetes Association may either have diabetes or have a friend or family that they can help, and Brian works with people with severe chronic disease with food. He's brilliant at it, so that works. Pre-diabetes, Brian can really talk about food. Health and wellness is really broad, but let's just kind of try these 4 broader models. So a quick question, is affinity targeting a part of your current Facebook ad strategy? So I'm really curious for the people here on the phone, on the webinar, or watching the recording, whichever way you see this, go ahead and just type in below, just let me know, is affinity marketing a part of your current Facebook strategy? I go to so many places and get presentations, and they have no idea what I talk about there. So to see so many people talking about affinity marketing here, you really have to step up on everybody else out there. So my hat is off to you. Step 3, discovery and validation. All right, now that we've picked out our core audience, we've figured out where the affinity groups are going to be. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and figure out this EQ qualification process. It's actually going to be pretty simple. What we're going to do is we're going to figure out what does our avatar like? What do they like to click on? What do they engage with? Because when we can figure out what people like, then predictably we can scale it to similar people because we've already figured out the predictability. It's pretty easy once you start hitting the buttons. So what you do is you start running EQ ads and IQ measurements. Well, what does that mean exactly? Well, we start doing some boost post. We start doing some boost post engagement. We start doing a like campaign. We start doing video views to those new likes. We do boost post to those new likes. We run increased brand awareness to those new likes. Notice I'm not saying a cold market. We run website clicks to those new likes and to the audience where we get the best likes from. You'll see in a minute. But see, watch this. Notice I didn't say, hey, I'm getting leads right now. Notice I didn't say I'm sending it to the sales page. Let me explain here in just a moment. See, what happens is step 3 is we start to split test. We have our affinity audiences, and we start running ads. And we run ads that are video, or they could be a like campaign or engagement. We're going to run them on mobile, desktop, right-hand side. Make sure, by the way, if you go into mobile, that it's not running on the audience network. Very important. That is advanced part of the training. I will happy to cover it at the very end if you stick around. Be very careful when you target on mobile so your traffic doesn't slip into a place that you are not able to track or see where traffic came from. Very important. All right. So what happens is we start now the retargeting and custom audiences. See, because we started running website clicks, we started figuring out who likes website clicks, who likes the page. We're starting to figure out some of their EQ because we're figuring out what they like. What we're doing is we're posting relevant content. I'm going to show you how Brian did that in just a second, how you're going to be able to repeat it. The big key here is retargeting and custom audiences. Begin brand indoctrination. This is where we're really going to target on EQ. See, when you get somebody to like your page, you're just having them raise your hand. We have this all documented step by step, but you're asking them to raise their hand. So for instance, what we may do for an ad for, let's just say we were talking about our product social media ad genius. We may target an entrepreneur, 35 to 55, male, female, who's interested in online marketing and say, do you love the ability to have an online marketing business, like us? I'm already targeting the right people. I'm just asking them to say yes. And then I'm going to give them information about online marketing, specifically Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn. But I'm going to find out what do they like to watch? What do they like to click on? I'm not sending them straight to my sales page right now. See, what I'm doing is I'm building on engagement and actions. I'm building on brand indoctrination. It is not about having someone click on an ad and go straight to a landing page. There must be rapport built. Facebook wants ads to improve the user experience. Very important. Improve the user experience. So you're going to build brand, product, service awareness. Continue the conversation. Align avatar's belief system. Now, retargeting can actually be very, very, very simple. For example, what can happen is you can customize your messages based off avatar's actions and engagements. So you can see when you are posting on your Facebook page, what do people like to engage with? And when you find what they like to engage with, well, do a boost post and just retarget your likes. Notice we're only talking about getting initial engagement. Get likes to pre-qualify your business. I don't care if you have 20 likes on your page or 5,000. What I care about is if you get people to raise their hand that are interested in your subject. Because now what you can do is you can take relevant content and just hit boost post and retarget just your likes. It will provide a logical next step. Let me give you an example. What happens is when you attract likes to your page with an emotional question, and we have lots of examples of how to do this, target likes and website visitors. So what you do is what we call action indoctrination. You don't even have to have a website set up for this. That is just extra additional icing on the cake because since you get likes as well, you can always retarget your likes with a boost post. It's the cheapest way to retarget people on Facebook that most people just don't recognize. But the thing is so liked, when someone raises their hand, like for our audience, and says, hey, I'm an entrepreneur interested in online marketing. I don't have to say I'm selling my services. I'm very specific in my question. I get them to raise their hand because I know they have broad interest. And then once they raise their hand and they engage with a post of mine, or I do a boost post and or they engage with mine, or they view a video, I know as they watch the video, like, and share it, I can gauge their interest. So I know if my new likes enjoy. Website clicks from a post. This means that they like the page, I did a boost post for the engagement, they looked at the engagement, and they clicked on my website link. They did 3 different things, high interest. I know a qualified website click is really going to help my business because they've already seen me 3 times. Leads. Once somebody becomes a lead, let's be honest, next step, they become a buyer. That's really how it should work, and if it doesn't, step 7 through 12 is going to make a huge difference there. So focus on engagement before website clicks. So what we do is we make this fun and easy for Brian. We run a like campaign, and then what happens is, because Brian's talking about nutrition and grocery store videos, as soon as someone likes this campaign, he spends $5 a day to retarget a video that says, hey, I'm Brian Johnson, I'm in a grocery store, it seems like you like nutrition, let me tell you about. He makes it really fun and easy to connect. Now, by the way, I have this entire process drawn out, how you can drive EQ to build your relevance score, to drop your ad cost, and it's all here, right? How you retarget on mobile, and that, it would literally take me 10 minutes to go through this whole thing, and I want to cover all 12 steps. But what happens is this. In step 4, as you start to apply this, see, we got 1,300 predictable video views at a penny. Well, that penny doesn't mean that they became leads, but Brian got brand awareness for a penny. I'll tell you right now, some of the YouTube advertising we're doing, 20 cents, 30 cents. Brian gets 23 views to my one. 1 penny is great because it helps the indoctrination period, right? Now look what happens. In the case study with Brian, remember when he started out May 15th to May 30th? Notice in all these campaigns, my website click campaign, I only spent $88 out of a total of 461. I know it's kind of hard to see right down here, but most of this is video, page likes, post page engagement. That's how I got these relevancy scores high. I focused on communicating with my avatar, figuring out what they liked before I ran website clicks. You can even see these are like campaigns right now, what the cost is for 10 cents at a relevance score of 10. You can see how we retarget fans on the video that I just showed you. I'm showing you step by step. See, what ends up happening is as we post on a regular basis with our methodology, the way that we do content, and we teach people how to schedule it out, you can see the engagement so you know when someone likes your page, and then when they really like a piece of content, you leverage that content that will next be your ad. Again, if we focus on relevance, your cost won't even matter, meaning that even if you screw up like what we're talking with Brian right now is in the landing page, I'm going to give you additional opportunities to monetize steps 7 through 12, because a lot of internet marketers, what they'll do, or people on Facebook, they'll do a couple of boost posts, they'll have people click back to the website and nothing happens. And they're like, I don't know how to track it, I don't know what happened. Well, if you follow my steps 1 through 4 right now, you're already going to know that you've built up a highly qualified person by this point. You're not sending just cold traffic to a landing page. Now if someone goes to a landing page, you know they're qualified because of the action steps. So we got to think about, now that we've been targeting people with engagement for their IQ, we're going to bridge the gap. We're going to say, okay, I know that these video views are really inexpensive, or I know that these boost post engagement was really inexpensive. I know that I'm starting to see some people click back to my website. Now let's make sure the numbers are right and we can turn that boost post into an ad. We're going to use this exact ad copy to really drive down cost. So we're going to start and focus with relevance. I just want to make sure the person I'm targeting, they like my page, they see some content. The first page they come to is my landing page. Now, whether you opt in there and put in their email, or if you're saying, hey, look, here's who I am, here's what I do. Brian's landing page, per se, is a video that he retargets people with to say, hi, I'm Brian Johnson, let me introduce myself to you. And what we do is we're starting with relevance there. So when Brian is in the grocery store talking about nutritional videos, at the end of his nutritional videos, he says, hey, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you go to my website and a link above in my post, and you can download 7 free nutritional videos for you. What we're doing is we're bridging that next step from them liking the page because of nutrition, watching his video, then becoming a lead to further qualify the prospect. So start with relevance. Welcome new people, align beliefs, build rapport, provide next steps. Now, step 6 really comes in the intelligent follow-up process. Some of the audience gets this. When I'm saying the audience, not you. You are all here and learning at a completely different rate because of the way that I'm displaying and giving you this information. Most people in the general public will kind of sort of do this step and then they're going to quit. That's it. That's why I'm so passionate about these 12 steps, because when you do them all together, it works. Most people kind of sort of screw this up, but they stop here. See, what the intelligent follow-up is you leverage steps 1 through 5. Because since we've got the likes and the boost post and the engagement, we've quantified the views, engagement, clicks, sales, leads, we kind of know what those numbers are now. So now we're going to follow up per action. We're going to follow up with what people really enjoy, and we're going to give them more of that. We're only going to target the hot-based leads. So momentum continues towards conversions. This is going to give you a highly qualified EQ with IQ. This is going to be very important, essential to the strategy. So follow-up process, retarget. Retarget people based on actions. Now, retargeting could be a boost post just to likes. That could be retargeting. You could do a boost post that you retarget just to website clicks, people who've been to your website, people who've been just to your welcome page, people who've been to just your opt-in page but did not opt in. You can run specific ads depending on what page people land on. Well, you've already qualified the content, so now you can qualify and quantify the message. You know what pages they landed on, so you know exact message to give them. Website clicks is next step. This is step 6. See, what happens is if we focus on website clicks, Facebook will go out and find the people that have a high probability of clicking on website clicks. Like, that's actually how you target. So when you click on, hey, Facebook, give me video views or give me boost post engagement or give me website clicks, when you click on website clicks, that's just not how you pay for the ads. Facebook actually goes out and finds people that has a high probability of clicking your ad. If you're not shocked right now, maybe you already knew that, but it's brilliant technology if you think about it. Because see, what we're going to do is we're going to target website clicks to the best affinity audience that gave us the best like campaign. Because we built up so much content, we know that the best affinity audience is this one audience. Like for Brian, right here, you got 191 clicks. So we knew, wow, these people really like his content. So then what we did is we took the best affinity audience, because it's been working for likes, we got the best post that's been working for us. So watch this. 7 days. In 7 days, we recognized that he got 191 clicks at 26 cents a website click. 7 relevance score, that's not too bad. 191 clicks is quantifiable. 26 cents, great. You used to pay $1.40, right? Here's what happens 23 or 30 days later. 746 clicks, 23 cents. The cost is going down, and if you look right next to that's the relevance score is 8. That's even going up. So over the course of 30 days, now that goes up. This is a screenshot. This was on June 4th, actually. So this actually would have been 19 days into the process. This is where we're just starting to qualify website clicks, right? Watch this. What about July 1st through July 27th after the Facebook changes? 9,872 website clicks for 10 cents. 10 cents. Even if your opt-in page is horrible, even if you're not getting leads, these are qualified clicks for 10 cents. What we do is this is how we combine a lookalike audience. The content has already been verified. We take this step by step. I mean, seriously. We went from literally barely any clicks 45 days ago to driving this month alone 9,872 website clicks for 10 cents. I have to ask this question. Imagine if you predictably produced 9,872 highly qualified website clicks for 10 cents to your website. Now, I can't obviously guarantee that for everybody. I can't guarantee that for anybody. But what I can tell you is this that's really important. Your ad cost will really drop, and it's relative. If you put in $1 to make $1.50, like I was talking to a brilliant lawyer the other day, he gets leads for a really low cost. He's inside the scale method. He just thought compared to what he hears on the internet that they were really high. He's doing an amazing job with his business. He just didn't know. But now when you can quantify and you know when you're doing good, when you're not, like it's literally just it's a game changer. So step 6 is we say, hey, look, you're not retargeting the cold market anymore. You're only targeting people with retargeting leads. And there's a very specific process that we follow. Again, step 6 is we have this entire thing mapped out. So you're not using any cold market once you move from step 6 plus. Really, step 6 is all just about retargeting, but most people, they just stop here, and that's the biggest problem. They like run stuff to a website clicks, it doesn't work for a week, they do 2 boost posts, it doesn't seem to work for them, they don't know, and they just stop. The problem is they didn't spend enough time quantifying their avatar. They didn't spend enough time on figuring out their targeting and their numbers. Watch this. Seriously, Shecky and I say this. Here's the thing. Brian says don't stop. Brian hasn't stopped yet. That's one of the things about his personality. So the genius facts about step 7 through 12, dramatically compound your efforts, build awareness at hyperspeed, only target your hottest market, convert more clicks and leads, quickly grow your lifetime value. If you're just getting started out, step 1 through 3 can literally be a game changer. If you've run some ads, steps 4 through 6 can just do huge things for you. Step 7 through 12, it doesn't matter if your landing page is screwed up, doesn't matter. Like, you can make a lot of things bad and still make a huge difference because you're targeting the right person, so you just get different opportunities. So this is really one of those genius steps, but I got to go through quickly because of time. So step 7 is it's an intelligent nurturing content. So we're nurturing the new relationship. They've already liked the page. They've already seen our content. Now we're going to expand relevant EQ content. So weekly, I'm going to have some type of content schedule where I'm going to align with the avatar, and we have this all documented for you as well. Build on avatar's EQ at hyperspeed. Because they qualified with a like, because they engage with the post, because we know what people that your avatar like, what their content they're reading. Now all we have to do is just change the targeting just a little bit. It's really about the content that you're providing. Increase diversified exposure with content. Remember, the process that I'm showing you up to these steps, a qualified like is the same thing as a qualified click, a qualified lead, and even sales, but they all require consistent, positive nurturing. So Brian's intelligent content. So what Brian does is he posts weekly on Facebook. He also does 2 Facebook Live events each week because it's easy for him to do video. He likes to do video. It could be a blog post for you. It could just be pictures. It could be a video. We give you step by step on what to do, but this is just what works for him. He emails all his leads 5 times a week. He has a monthly theme that he focuses on, and he aligns the content weekly. It's a process that we teach to go step by step. And what we do is we quantify and say, look, step 7, we're going to have this weekly content. We're going to have this weekly blog or weekly video. What we're going to do is we're going to target where we were getting our best likes at, right? We're going to target those people to see if they like any of the content, just to see if maybe they'll come over to our content cheaper than a website click. And then we're going to retarget everybody. And we have a very specific process on how we do this, so it helps nurture people along the way. See, step 8 is all about the additional conversion content. We're only going to put content now at step 8 in front of people who have said that they enjoy the last piece of content that they saw. This is critical. This isn't shotgun marketing. This is your own brilliant marketing. So special note, steps 8 through 12 will exclude cold market targeting. You are no longer targeting cold market. You're only targeting the hottest of the leads. And keep in mind, as you implement this step, every single week it snowballs. So when Brian got 10,000 clicks this month, that doesn't count anything that happened last month. So that means next month he's going to be able to retarget 20,000 qualified clicks if he did 10,000 the month before, right? And then it just compounds. Can you see how that compound qualified click can really grow your business and your ecosystem? You're only going to market to people who have shown interest in specific content. So nurturing the conversion. Weekly content to move forward towards conversion. Turn topics of interest into conversion content. What does that mean? A boost post that worked out really well, you extend the boost post out a little bit. We show you how to do that. Then what happens after you see a boost post is run for 6 to 7 days and you have good numbers, you can turn it into an ad. And the people that you target with that ad with website clicks, I'm telling you, can absolutely expand your market. It's part of the affinity training that we have and the lookalike audience. This is really where we can take Brian's clicks and get 10 cents a click. Additional conversion tips, by the way. Each week, build for some type of an event. It can be, hey, I'm going to have a video each week. Hey, I'm going to do a Facebook Live. I'm going to release a blog. I'm going to give you an additional tip. Tell people every single week you're going to do something and build for an event that they can expect to release some kind of content ideally, right? It's kind of like their favorite radio show, favorite TV show, just a post. Events can be content or sales-based, but align with a clear call to action. Why are you posting out there? What do you want them to do next? How are you going to be able to help them? You don't have to sell something, but you got to have some forward progression. No is never a permanent answer from someone qualified to consume your content and events. So if you're sending people to a landing page that doesn't work, the process that I'm showing you right now is continually following up with people on a weekly basis from your postings. So as you improve your landing page, you're always getting the ability to retarget those people. So step 8 is, again, a very specific step-by-step process where we show you where to target, who to target, what's the next logical step is, how that works as well. It's very important you understand each step. Step number 9 is call to action next step. So every single week you have some type of call to action for people to do something. So the weekly call to action genius tip here. Leverage clicks to call to action. Align message with leads versus clicks. No cold calling going on after step 8. People don't like the cold calling, right? You're only talking to your warm market. Edify, reconfirm, validate with a clear call to action. So we're just going to make sure that every single week there's some type of event, we're doing something, right? We can make it very easy. We give you lots of different suggestions on what you can do every week. But we want to make sure that people are going to be able to make a decision on something to move forward with. Retarget only those who engage in step 8. So if you're posting this additional content and you're finding that that audience is engaging, and they're engaging, let's say, about a special product that you have, only retarget those people who went to that product page with a clear call to action. Why should people buy now? Very important right before they make the buying decision. Do they have all the information to buy? Testimonials. Are people like them doing it? Product tours. Call to action next steps. Step number 9 is absolutely critical. Because what's going to happen is right as you're closing out sales, right as people have seen your sales page, again, you've only been retargeting step number 8. What's really important is now you're at the point where people are making a decision. They're either buying or they're opting in on your weekly content. This is the time for them to make a decision. Step 10 is what happens after they made that decision. Whether they were a buyer, there's a specific way we encourage you to follow up with people with ads. Yeah, with ads because it's going to help decrease refunds. Now, it's also going to align content. Here's the other thing. The very top of it is it's going to show you how to follow up with those people who did not opt in or did not buy. They're still qualified clicks. They're going to be retargeted next week with additional content. So behavior-based follow-up is critical. Lead follow-up genius tips. Just because they didn't buy this time doesn't mean they're not going to buy. Follow up with non-clicks and weekly content. I'm going to show you how it's made a huge difference in Brian's life in just a moment. A qualified click plus a qualified lead equals more solutions required for a conversion. They just didn't seem to match up the message or something you used last time. Now segment your audience based on actions and or surveys. We just talked about Ryan Levesque here. We also have a webinar inside the training that it's brilliant what he does. So remember this real quick. Behavior-based follow-up. Behavior-based follow-up, a qualified click, a qualified like, a qualified lead, a qualified sale. And step number 11, we say, okay, look, if your landing page didn't work, if you sent a website click that was qualified that they didn't buy, step number 11 is we're going to talk about additional products and services. We are only following up with people who are highly qualified. Highly qualified. Here's the way it works. Genius tip. Consider different ways to allow people to participate with you early and often. So maybe someone couldn't afford your first product. Maybe they weren't ready to buy it. Retarget with it. Well, maybe they weren't able to buy or afford, or for some reason it didn't make sense to them to buy your $2,000 product. Give them some pricing options. Give them a small access to your product. Allow people to participate with you. If you know you're targeting the right person, I'm not saying to discount your product, to devalue your product. I'm saying allow people different payment plans or options or different splinter products to work with you so they get to know who you are. And go through those options first to help your audience before you introduce them over to JVs. Joint ventures are great to do and you can make great money, but make sure you, like for instance, we are great at Facebook ads, we're great at Google, YouTube, we really know funnel strategies. I really want to take care of the people like here on this call. I really want to take care of you. Make sure you're scaling and running ads. And then when you're ready to really improve your email, heck yeah, I'll introduce you to some of the greatest people in the world to show you how to do that. But you want to do the same thing with your customers, is make sure that you really take care of them before you send them out to joint venture opportunities. Because what happens in step number 11, this is where you can instantly create profits if your landing page wasn't working. So I've said this before, but Brian's landing page is like a 9% opt-in. What does Brian do? He applies step number 11, and watch this. Consider different ways to allow people to participate with you early and often. Payment plans, JVs. So what Brian does is he's like, okay, look, people are going to my opt-in page, but it's 9% they're not opting in. And the people who do opt in, there's a $197 offer that's just not working. He's like, I send direct emails, and they're in a 30-day follow-up, and I ask them to buy at least 10 times. So each email, when someone's ready to buy, we know, wow, 10 emails, we're getting email number 5 today. Nothing's happening, so no one's buying. Facebook posts, so what he does a Facebook post for a free consulting call. He does a Facebook live call saying he's going to do a free consulting call as well, too. He doesn't say 15 minutes, free consulting call, very structured on this. Special offer to non-buyers, $97 one-time offer. He did a Facebook Live promotion. He then emailed everybody and said, hey, just let everybody know this is a 4-day sale. He followed the process of this winter product. Well, what happens? He gets 15 new sales at $97. That's $1,445 initial sales. This is actually May 15th and 30th because his wife was a little upset about him spending ad spend of $500. And he's like, look, yeah, let's figure this out. And I go, here's exactly what you do. Within 24 hours, that money came in because he had qualified people. And not only did he make money, but he got 146 new qualified leads. He could get more, but his conversion's there. But he got 7,400 new likes. He also got 4 higher-end coaching leads because Brian has coaching packages from $1,000 to $10,000. So again, this is just a small area where that effectiveness just really hit off. What happens is step number 12, after you do all of this, you've really worked this EQ, IQ, like seriously, by now at this point, you should really be looking at this and being like, okay, see how they married the two together like that? Now what happens is, watch this. This is where lookalike audiences come in. And I got lots of pro tips. I could do an hour-long training just on step number 12, which we actually did an hour-long training on step number 12, where we document it all out. But the main thing I want to show you is this, is when you get this whole thing done right, you never buy likes to a fan page. You never target people that are outside of your area, that's not your perfect avatar. You set up your retargeting leads. You set up everything like I just suggested. You create lookalike audiences. And what happens is you target literally the perfect avatar. It's perfect. And this is how you can scale. And this is how Brian, quite honestly, he looks at his ads on a daily basis, but has not touched in almost 30 days. Because of the way that it's set up like this, it's super effective, and literally that's where all the money is. So leverage the AI genius as I wrap this up. Spend time focusing on building out lookalike audiences, but do steps 1 through 11 first. Split test similar and greater audiences. Allow the AI to find unknown targeting. It's going to be your greatest profit center. Build with likes and relevance first, then move over to the call to action. Now, let's talk about you. This is very important. Now, you invested over an hour of time to spend with me. You spent money online, you're here, you are spending money on Facebook right now. You, yourself, are sitting to learn additional training to figure out how do you scale your business, how do you run your Facebook ads. I want to applaud you and thank you for staying here the entire time. A lot of people don't do that, so here's your advantage. Because a lot of people don't do what you just did, is there's not a lot of people that are going to apply the information that I'm going to tell you. But you have to have a plan for that car, house, business, whatever, proof and support. So we always ask people, do you know your critical numbers? They're called driver numbers. We spend a lot of time talking about this in the training. Do you know how much you get a like for, website clicks, cost per action, cost per lead? Well, let me show you what the scale method is really all about. It's really family support, and it really is a family around here. In a few moments, I'm going to show you how to get access to all 12 steps, the training videos, the KPI documents to know what to do next, the one-on-one support calls, genius community. So it's a lot of people like you and I that get together and we talk about what you'll see Sherry's statement in just a second of how we get together and work together and the best way to scale your business and really just so much more. So really I tell everybody this means so much to me, and I really want this to mean something to you as well too, because literally imagine if you had the same step-by-step plan that Brian implemented. Brian's not perfect, but Brian has the ability to follow up. This is in 45 days of his business. Imagine what your business looks like in 30 days, 6 months, or a year. Imagine if you had the done-for-you templates, handheld, done-with-you support through the entire process. This is where you don't have to worry about the confusion and the questions and who do I ask, I'm doing this on my own. You don't have to do it alone because it's been figured out for you. This is what you use to grow your business. Now, important announcement, the reason that we do these webinars right now, I'm so passionate about the scale product because I know its effectiveness, is I'm still fine-tuning the messaging a little bit. We're fine-tuning the training just a little bit, and I'm going to have a big public launch with this. And I've been talking about this for a long time, especially after Social Media Ad Genius 2.0. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just getting some more success stories from this. So we're giving people the step-by-step plan, the 12 steps, an online document. So when you click these links, it takes you to the right place of the training. And essentially what happens is you have your own living document. So you can move things around. You can add your own ads to it. We're also going to give you some support options for the 12 steps. And it's video training, big ideas, KPI benchmarks, so you know if you're doing right or wrong. There's no wrong. You just know if you're doing right or if you could do better, I should say. Genius experts or connect with the genius. So the skill method video trainings themselves. So you get one year access to all the trainings. That's going to be worth $1,000. It will sell for $1,000 alone. And basically what that is, here are all 12 steps inside, and they're all about an hour-long training, but we break it down really easy into what we call big ideas. So we can break it down by beginner, intermediate, genius, and genius ideas. This is what the Huffington Post was talking about, is how we have different trainings for different skill levels. Big ideas for each step. So there's a really quick hit on the lesson. Hey, what's the lesson all about? That's at the very top. If you want to know what the big idea is, what is the big idea here? Like, I don't want to watch an hour-long video. I think I know what the avatar is. I just want to download the lesson slides. I just want to look at the big idea. It's just click button away. See, the big idea is things like, let's talk about the overall strategy, why we're doing this. Okay, let's talk about the specific strategies and tactics, how we're doing this. And also let's talk about the key takeaways, customization, very important. So what do you do next? It's great to get training, but what do you do to implement it? Well, those are the lesson slides. So for instance, Nick loves watching video, but I'll tell you what he loves to do first is download the slides, read through everything. He says, oh, actually I just care about halfway through and then fast forwards the video. That's the way that Nick likes to learn. I like to run a video while I'm also working and just I can hear it in the background. It's just what worked for you. That's what we have the lesson documentation for. And if you want important resources and next steps, well, that's what we have right here. Here's a list of resources. For example, we have live case studies of like, hey, here's a friend, a colleague, someone we know that implemented exactly what we're teaching. Here's the results. There's the case studies that you can see with each one of the steps as well. Here's the other thing is each step's going to build momentum. This is so you're never stuck. This is so you're never like, I don't know what my numbers are, or I don't know what to do next. This is why I get so passionate. I was just telling someone this on our Genius Society call, where they basically said, hey, Kurt, I got a bunch of questions. And I go, we built this so you can say, I'm on step number 2, here's my problem. I'm on step number 7, here's my next step. So you're never stuck, you're always moving forward. Those are your momentum steps with each part of the lesson. Also, each step of the way, you got to know your numbers, your KPIs, your key performance indicators. What are the main numbers that drive all this other stuff, right? Well, we have it right here, what to test. Exactly broken down, like if you're going to do a dark post, what do you test for first? What's the first thing you split test? Just the documents alone are worth over $500 because let's be honest, in split testing, you'll easily spend that money very quickly. Dark post, we show you what are the key performance indicators. Again, if you're a beginner, intermediate, or genius, big idea. What are the click-through rates? What should you be looking at? Now, know your benchmark KPIs for each step. So each step of the way there's a number. So again, you're never not knowing what to do next. By the way, there's additional support. We have access to what we call the Red Phone. It's access to me, my team, the other support people. It's literally like a walkie-talkie way. It's a downloadable app on your phone. It's great. You also get access to resident geniuses. These are the brilliant people that we work with and we use, and that we encourage you to do too as you're growing your funnel. Literally just a click away for support. So all the additional support down here. So really we've surrounded you almost like a big hug to say, hey, here's the way that we can absolutely help you out to scale your business. Also, you have us to assist you along the way as well. So for 90 days, you're going to get Ashley, which she's my personal assistant. She'll give you a Zoom call so you can see her face. She welcomes you in. She helps you find documents, or schedule a call with me, or schedule a call with Shecky, or if you need any help, like I just need help sometimes being a responsible adult. I love her dearly. She's brilliant. You can leverage her for 90 days. Now, you're also going to get a one-on-one strategy call with Shecky. Shecky's going to take you through the entire 12-step scale process. He's going to ask you some questions about your business. And Shecky will tell me this all the time. He's like, Kurt, I try to go through the 12 steps, but sometimes I just get stuck to step number 3 because there's so much that people have to work on. But really, if they learn just those first 3 steps and really implement those, it can make a huge difference in their business. But Shecky's going to help you set up accountable action items. He's talked to hundreds of students of ours over the years. He knows exactly what's going to happen and what to do next to really help your business take off. Now, after you've talked to Shecky, if you need any help with Google Tag Manager, or if you have a pixel placement, we're going to give you a bonus call with Nick as well. Nick doesn't hardly ever do any of these calls whatsoever, and we keep his time very, very, very private. But Nick's really passionate about scale and really wants you to track your numbers because it's really all about proof. So he's going to give his time to you if you have any questions along the way, but you do get that one-on-one call with Nick. If you have any web share, again, this is all about Tag Manager or how to use Google Analytics or assistant pixel placement. This isn't about reports or anything else. This is all about the technology. He's also great at options, copy, design. He really does a lot of the stuff. I will say I do most of the PowerPoint presentations, and then he helps me fix them. But he is absolutely brilliant. So everything that you see very pretty, like our website, that is Nick, the membership site, how organized, it's all Nick. It's great ideas for your business. You're also going to get a one-on-one call with me. I don't do these hardly ever when we do digital product stuff. We typically only do coaching. So I'm going to talk to you about your sales funnel. We can review your ads. It'll be a screen share. We can go over KPIs. We can talk about how do you grow your lifetime value. What are you stuck on for boost posts? I'm telling you, this one call alone, I guarantee it, because we always say there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, but I guarantee you'll make your money back just with the phone call with Shecky. Nick, hands down. Myself, hands down, over and over. Here's the thing is, as you're talking to all of us, it's not like you just have one coach and there's 500 coaches that are helping all these different people. What happens is we meet once a week on a Wednesday to talk about our weekly content that we train you all to do too. And we get together and talk about your problems and solutions so we can help out with your challenges. So we meet once a week to talk about you. Here's the other thing. I mean, my business partner, now, Nick likes to stay at home with his wife, which is great. Business partner Tom doesn't like to travel as much. I love to be on a plane and meet really, really smart people. I love my business partners for what they contribute to allow me to be able to travel these places because I've been able to meet some of the smartest people in the world because of our strategies. And I want to make sure if you're stuck at a certain place in your funnel that I can recommend you to some of the smartest and brightest people out there. So we also have a Genius Society where for 90 days you're going to get access where we meet once a week. We have a Voxer group, the red phone for really fast answers. It's $247 a month regularly. We have weekly meetings to go over your funnel. We just spent a little over 2 hours going over someone's funnel. It was absolutely amazing the effects we're able to hear. You'll hear from her in just a second. But this is the place where a community gets together. So total everything at $7,384 for retail price that we've sold before. 6 weeks one-on-one consulting session with me, which is 8 sessions, is $5,000. Full service with our agency, it's $1,500 to start, and it's $4,000 for a 3-month agreement. It basically comes down to $12,000 to test, which you really don't require unless you've already spent a couple of thousand scaling. A lot of people in my masterminds have said, hey, Kurt, for the time that you spend with us and the time you spend with people and the content, you should really charge a heck of a lot more, at least $4 grand. There's a lot of products on the market that are 10 to 12 grand that, like, easily, it is definitely worth the value of 4. But the thing is, I'm going to do that later when I do a public launch. Like, there's a whole reason that you do a big public launch after you test a whole bunch of different stuff, and we have lots of support stories. So I'm not going to do that right now. So what we do is pricing's for a limited time only, because once the beta version is finished up, which we're almost there, we then take our new flagship product. I go around to some of my great, brilliant friends, and I'm like, hey, look, so partner promotion is going to be a minimum of $3,000 because we have affiliate promotions. We're going to have affiliates that we're going to be paying out. We're giving away some prizes. We'll be holding a large public launch where we'll be selling the price the scale method, plus all the additional support options, probably around the $4,000 to $6,000 range. So we're opening the scale method for a short time only just to finish testing, and really your investment in yourself today is $1,000, which I easily know that you can make back very quickly because the information you have is all long-term and it works on all the platforms. Now, I know that as things go, some people are like, hey, I'd like to participate, I just can't right now. So I understand. So we do have a payment plan of 3 payments of just $377. Again, we are practicing what we preach, and we want to make sure that you have the ability to join us so you can implement this right away. Again, you can go ahead and you can see the link down below. Nick will post the link in the chat as well. It's SMAG2, socialmediagenius2.com, EQ Scale, to take advantage of that special. As always, we always offer a 30-day money-back, no questions guarantee. Here's the thing that Nick and I are confident of. We know that our stuff works. It's worked for years. Nick and I, at many times, will sometimes get in an argument of how passionate I am because we have helped lots of people around the world, and we love it. And that makes me spend a lot more money sometimes on ad campaigns, or I want to do lots of different promotions, not to sell more because I know the success stories. So if you have any problems whatsoever within 30 days, hey, I completely understand. I know our stuff works, but if it doesn't work for you, we always back it up with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Absolutely unsolicited. Sherry sent this email to us. She said, yes, you can use it. Thanks so much, Shecky, Kurt, Nick, Ashley, and the whole team. I'm taking this day by day by taking the action steps you guys are telling me. I'm working 2 extra part-time jobs as a college professor to make ends meet, as well as being a mom. So I'm hoping I can do this full-time and make a huge go of it. I was all in financially when I signed up for Scale, but it's been by far the best decision I've made all year. I recommend it to everyone I know. Raving fan. There's an old proverb that spoke to me when I made my decision to join. By wisdom, that will cost you everything by wisdom. She's amazing. That's why I spent over 2 hours with her on our last Genius call. It was great. By the way, we always reward those who take action, since early action takers are really the ones who change the world. This is what Shecky talks about and kind of gives me some grief on it, but Shecky's a blazer with me as well. The only people who change the world are people who take action right away. People who sit and think on perfection, they don't. Sometimes Shecky's a perfectionist, but he's a gladiator with me, and he knows that he'll fight with me whether it's good or bad, and we'll make it work, and that is what we are doing right now. By the way, if you're not a part of Social Media Ad Genius already, you should be, but if you're not, we're going to give you a bonus as well too, or if you're already a Social Media Ad Genius subscriber, we'll extend a year onto your membership. You know, Social Media Ad Genius was our first product that we really came out with on Facebook. It shows you step-by-step how-to videos, and what it does is it shows you the strategy and the buttons. What I'm showing inside of Scale is the 12 steps of really how you scale and what those numbers are. We could train forever on strategy, right? But we condense down Social Media Ad Genius to be strategy, so you know what to do, so when the buttons move, it's not that big a deal. Now that you know where the buttons are, what they mean, what the strategies are to scale, now when you are ready to jump into, once you get into Scale, you'll see how that additional training you get in Social Media Ad Genius makes a huge difference. So step-by-step how-to videos, you get the next video for next module, you can download all the forms as well too, training videos, linked resources, by the way, modules, lessons, additional resource for resource page. You can see everything that you get right here. It covers 4 different levels of training. So getting started, beginner, intermediate, and genius. Insider Club access as well, where we're going to meet on a weekly basis live on a webinar to answer your questions as well. So now you get 2 calls with Scale, 2 calls a week, additional platforms, promotions, gain insight. We're going to show you how to run live events or product promotions, affiliate offers. We're going to show you what's working now and what's new. Customer identification, digital marketing mindset, which is absolutely critical to really make sure your mind's right, to really focus on your ads, sales funnel architecture. If you're going to run your leads somewhere, you've got to make sure you're going to the right place. So learn to advertise from an agency that has experts that are doing what we're doing every single, this is what we live and breathe. Like, I work morning, noon, and night. I'm really passionate about what you guys are all doing. I'm really fortunate for the clients that we have. We get to work with some people who are influencing world change, like how people eat, how they rewire their brain for health, like some really great people. And you get to leverage the knowledge that we use for our wide base to help your businesses as well. I love what you guys are doing. By the way, we have additional events and support bonuses that I'm going to give you as well. These are all fast action bonuses. So what happens is we're going to have a Scale virtual retreat coming up. We're looking at just finalizing the dates. What we do is we're going to cover the Scale process over a 2-day live virtual event, so you can really get some deep-seated training as well too. So we really break out the sessions. It's something that we want to record for a big recording to add into the final version of Scale. We're probably going to sell that for like $297 a seat. You're going to get 2 seats to that, and again, it's a virtual event, so imagine we're going to have some action steps. You take the action steps, you implement. We're also going to have a live family reunion. We're just finalizing the dates as well too. Retail is going to be $497 a ticket. You're going to get 2 live event tickets. We're going to keep you up to date when that live reunion is going to happen. I'll be honest, we've never had a live reunion with a Snag family. We have some of our original family members, some of the first 10 people that were ever involved with us. They're coming for a special event here in Austin, and I can't wait. We have 300 or 400 people in the room, and we are together, and you guys all get to see Shecky. There is nothing more that I like to see than walking down the airport with Shecky and someone going, Shecky, Shecky, Shecky. I recognized you from that YouTube video. It was amazing. Also, speed of implementation bonus. Again, it's all about speed of implementation. So avatar creation worksheet, we'll give you a headline creator tool, ad copyright toolkit, edible ad templates, funnel conversion checklist, Facebook ad agency scaling strategies that we use for the agency. Here's the other thing. We'll even give you our template that we use to produce $10,000 plus webinars. You don't need 500 or 1,000 people on a webinar. 10, 15, 20 people. A webinar can help you educate. A webinar can help you sell. A webinar can really help you connect with your audience. So by the time that you add everything up, the retail value is $8,328. However, of course, what we're going to do is one extra bonus, because here's what I love. The people who stay towards the end, like the people who are right now, who have stayed past the hour mark, these are the people that I reward, because some people took very early action, which we've already seen come through. Congratulations to those who already joined. But I will tell you this, for the people that are still on, for the very first 10 people, we're going to extend those scale support services. So working with Ashley goes from 90 days to 6 months. Being a part of the Genius Society goes from 90 days to 6 months. Being a part of the Voxer group, where you're going to be able to have the red phone to our staff to ask questions, that's going to continue on for 6 months. Again, that's only for the first 10 people. Now, I know there are some people on the call right now that are still thinking we're watching the recording, hey, did the first 10 people already buy? I know that a couple already have. Unfortunately, I will freeze my screen if I try to go in the other spot to look. But what I can tell you is this. Make sure that you get in right now. Get in as quick as you possibly can. I promise you that this is going to be a huge change to your business. Again, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee as well. Total retail value, $9,366. What you do is when you go to the link that Nick's going to put in the screen, or that you see here at the very bottom of the screen, you're going to go right to this page that honestly is one of my favorite views with the ocean in the background. This is where I love to work. You got to make sure you don't get sand in your computer, but it requires a great team. Let's be honest. If you're going to have a 7-figure company or more, most people don't do it all by themselves. They have a great team. Shecky's amazing. Ashley's amazing. Nick's great. Tom's great. I mean, all those guys, it requires a team. But if you really want access to be able to have that luxury to, honestly, work from where you want with your business, it comes down to running predictable ads. So when you scroll below the video and click on the green button, what it does is it takes you directly on over to our secure shopping cart. Now, the secure shopping cart itself, it'll show you the 2 different payment plans. You'll see Daniel, who's going to come who I met 4 years ago, and he's done huge things with his business. There's one payment for $1,000, of course you have your 3 payments for $377. Now, you're going to get instant access to the scale methods. You're going to be able to dive right on in. I suggest that you watch steps 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you're just getting started with online marketing, jump inside of Social Media Ad Genius first. Go over the beginner and intermediate section. Once you've gone over beginner and intermediate, then layer on scale. Go through steps 1 through 5. I'm telling you, if you've had a little bit of experience and you go through Social Media Ad Genius, beginner and intermediate, then you jump over and do steps 1 through 5 in scale, you will literally be like the 5% out there that really understand retargeting. You'll get it. And when you apply step 6, huge changes. 7 through 12, it's a game changer. This is what gets really fun. By the way, you're going to get access to Ashley starting as of early as tomorrow. She will start reaching out to you, setting up those Zoom calls so you can see her face-to-face. She gives you all the documents. This is the time to really take action. Make sure you click on the link. Again, the link you can go to is smag2.com/EQ scale. Total retail value, $9,366. I know we have a couple more slots. They fill very, very quickly. We're finishing out just the last parts of the training. I want to hear your success stories like we have with Sherry's. Again, remember the investment in yourself today is just $1,000. That's it. When you look around and you look inside of your living room or wherever you are right now and you think, what else did I spend $1,000 on in the last 60 days? This is one of those things, one of those investments for you that I know that pays off compound over time. I mean, look at Brian. Brian's already spending $2,400 a month now, and you saw the results that he's getting. But here's the thing. Brian would never spend $2,400 unless he was making money. Brian went from taking 6 months, only spending $99, to within the last 44 days, if you can find everything together, it's over $3,500 in ad spend. But that $3,500 is produced, I believe it's over $15,000. I should probably write this down, so I should ask it. But I know it's almost a 5x return from it. So you're going to spend the money in ads and trial anyway. Spend it with a group, invest in yourself, spend it with some people where you are literally investing with your future, so are other people. This is why we're so passionate about this entire thing. Again, we always offer a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. Again, I welcome the other people that are joining as well. Just a lot of people are joining really quick. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, if you have any questions, you're welcome to call Shecky, text Shecky. You know, Shecky's an absolute, just integral part of the way that we do this whole thing.
Well, I just want to say, look, you know, there's a gajillion webinars and trainings out there, and I know you got a lot of value out of it. Thank you, Kurt. You just laid down some great stuff today. But one of the things I want you to change your frame. So this is not a training product. It includes a training product, but this is an implementation system. So the way that we have designed it is very different than some of the other people in the internet marketing space, right? We put a situation together where you have the red phone to Kurt, where you have support, where you have a concierge, where you have, calls to guide you, right? So this is it's designed to keep you moving through a process. So if you ever bought other things in the past, or struggled with just like going through a bunch of training videos, you're not going to have that issue here. All right, I just want to impress that upon you. There's a pretty big, when we set out to do this, we just said, hey, how can we create something that gives the student the highest chance for success? And one of the things that we had seen from some of our previous training and group coachings and individual coachings and social media ad genius and all the other things that we do is that we found, and again, you can take this for what it's worth, but we found that people need a combination of kind of an accountability and coaching, to say like, here's what you need to be looking at, here's what the next step for you is. That combined with a bit of a kick in the ass, right? And I don't mean any disrespect when I'm saying that. I mean it to say that's the way that we have designed this. So if you're on the fence and you're thinking about it, I would say take one of those last remaining spots. Kurt, I'm still going to go on vacation. I'm just telling you right now. So there may be a couple days where we don't schedule calls. But if you got any questions at all, that's my direct number right there on the screen. And, I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
We are here to absolutely assist. The Scale Method, hands down, is one of the most passionate projects we have ever worked on. It's one of the most effective things that we have ever used with students. It's the most effective strategy that we have used continuously with clients that I've demonstrated with you, with Brian, even just in over a 45-day period. So what I'll leave you with is this. Look, this is every single day you wake up, you have the ability to choose. So what happens is, just as Jackie and I were just talking about, is people wake up. Whatever you do, I like to roll over, look at the view of the city, I get up, I brush my teeth, get a cup of coffee, and I get ready to go for a bike ride. It's the way that I like to really start off my day. Some people like to get up, look in the mirror, brush their teeth, maybe somebody like yourself. And when you start out on the day, you always remember that you have an opportunity because you have the ability to choose. What that means is you have the ability to choose to say, hey, you look in the mirror, or you look at your significant other, or you look at your business partner and you say, man, I just chose to do something that was really important. And what we did is we're making that commitment to take that next step of the business. What we noticed from the thousands of entrepreneurs that we've worked with, the people who participate very early on, for instance, like in Social Media Ad Genius, when they participated 3 years ago when that came out, the things that we're seeing now with their business is amazing. When I travel, people are like, Kurt, the one thing in the Genius section, or that one tip that you gave in video number 4 in the intermediate section made a huge difference and changed what was happening for my client. We've had people buy our product, Social Media Ad Genius, and provide ad services to other people from it as well. So here's what's interesting. When you combine scale, what happens is scale was built for a couple of prime reasons. 1, the ability to choose. You're never stuck. 2, you know exactly what the numbers are to move to the next step. 3, you never wonder if you're doing right or wrong because you have numbers to guide you. And 4, the most important thing, you have a family that supports you and can talk the same language, understands the same process, and you are home. I would absolutely love for the more people that join us in this very short amount of time that we have for just the next 7 days. I appreciate you all immensely. Thank you for investing your time. Thank you for investing your us. Thank you for the people who have already joined.